This podcast was created on the lands of the Ngunnawal people, the Wurundjeri people, and Ngāti Pawa. We acknowledge the contributions of Aboriginal, Torres Strait Islander, and Maori people to making rugby league the greatest game of all.
You're listening to NRL Hellmouth, the podcast where we open up a portal to the rugby league realm to see what horrors and delights we can unearth. My name is Simon, and I'm here with a couple of very sad boys this week.
Oh, come on.
Their team, the Melbourne Storm, has lost 3 in a row and is sitting well outside the top 8. Daniel, James, how does it feel to be supporting a genuinely awful football team for the first time in your lives?
It feels statistically miserable. But anyway, look, I won't dwell. Beanies and bucket hats to you both. And James, how are you?
I'm great, thanks, and I'm really happy to be now part of the manosphere. And thank you for bringing me into it. And with the Storm obviously not doing so well in the last few weeks, it's pushing me further into that. And I'm hoping in the next 2 weeks, if we continue to lose, I will be able to do an unhinged rant. I've been watching a lot of St George Illawarra fans in cars. You've got to be in a car. And very unhinged.
Do you think that the algorithms will zero in on you as they
They'll know I'm in the car, and then what I've got to do is amplify my disappointment.
Yeah.
Because really, you just sort of go to nonchalance as a Storm fan. That's the problem. But yeah, once we lose a couple more and then we get a little bit more worried, I think then straight in the car and I'll let rip. Bellamy! What are you doing? What are you doing, Bellamy? Bit of that. Munster, where's the effort?
Yeah, you're in the anger phase of grief, yeah. But anyway, take it from me, another 25 or 30 years of this, you'll stop feeling anything at all. Now, coming up in the show today, we'll be dipping into our fan mail, dropping some amazing did you know facts, and discussing how rugby league can do its bit during the fuel crisis. Let's open it up and raise some hell.
There's the kickoff. Let the party begin.
Like, I undeservedly apologise to everyone for my actions.
I didn't intend to disrespect anybody, and I definitely didn't do it on the car.
Well, I've been watching the Seagulls, and not one of them is eating. This is a horror movie. Rugby league. What else can this grand final provide?
To get stacked live on television.
Stop it, it's starting to hurt.
So the enshittification of our once great game was on full display over the Easter long weekend. A couple of teams cracked 50 points and we had an average winning margin of 20. It was an appalling spectacle. What did you guys make of it?
It's a difficult one, isn't it? On one hand, you've got a couple of good games, Rabbitohs, Bulldogs, West, Parramatta, that were what one would expect, that they were very enjoyable to watch, and they proved to be the exception to the rule. And then you had a bunch of the other games where the game was already over early on in the second half, which is pretty disappointing. So I did have one idea for that.
Yeah.
I think is a good one. And that is to pretty much give up at 20. Well, I had a catchier title for it, didn't I? Hold on. Yeah, no, give up at 20. That's what I call it, Dan. So you give up at 20. And that means the moment that your team is down by 20 points or more, regardless of the time in the game, regardless of anything, you turn it off and you disengage from it. And you might call your mum, you might do some gardening, you might clean up your sock drawer, you do something useful with the remaining time. Statistically speaking, only once or twice a season will a team come back from 20 points down. So you're pretty safe to know that you're going to lose.
I think it's fair to say it will not happen in this season under the current rules.
Yeah, it's a slippery slide once you hit 20.
No, that's right.
You're going deep.
So you still get to enjoy the game up until that point. You then gain productivity, which I know you guys are both in the manosphere, so I know you're both into that. It's very important. You've got to up your productivity, so you're going to get that in.
Gains.
And then you just reset for next week.
Yeah. Could I add to that like a little bit of a maybe we could work it into a tech startup app where we could have basically like, yes, you can tap out at 20, but then there's a cutoff where the app will invite you. It'll alert you when you potentially are going to miss one of the great comebacks. But then again, you can also have in your settings for your notifications whether you want your heart broken or not.
Dan, don't like that at all.
Simon is already kind of sensing a lot of repressed memories of games where he's been tempted back into caring deep in a game only to have his heart broken.
Exactly.
Yet again, but quite often, you find yourself in a situation where circumstance prevents you from watching the game live. You want to watch it, no spoilers later on. And I think it would be beneficial to have something, whether it's just your friend or an app that can tell you, don't watch this replay. This is only going to cause you severe heartache. So you tap out even before you even consider getting close to that 20-point
So the preemptive
margin.
give up at 20. If you lose by more than 20, then you get a warning not to... A trigger warning, if you like.
We could sponsor. I'm sure we could get Beyond Blue on board. It would be really good for the manosphere. Let's target it straight at the manosphere.
I think also another advantage of this initiative, James, is that, of course, I'm sure somebody at RLHQ is tracking all the KO streams and the Channel 9 streams, and if they notice that, oh look, we've noticed a pattern that as soon as a team gets above 20 points in front, our viewership halves. They'll start taking notice of that and fix the sport.
Potentially. And, of course, you leave the ground. You leave the ground as well. So the Titans, at the point where the Broncos led by 20, those 18,000 Titans fans that were there just walked out. Same with the Dragons. Gone. So by the end of the game, there'd be no one there, but apart from maybe about 10 Cowboys fans at that Dragons game. That would have sent a message. I mean, it would have sent multiple messages, I suppose.
Oh, just on that note, I just wanted to point out rally towels, since being instituted by two teams this year, they are 0-6 with the win-loss, and teams that strike the shoe, however, 2-0. So, just force for thought there. In the air! In the air! In the air! Goal!
So, Dan, you actually raw-dogged, I think the term is, the whole round. Do you have any highlights from it? Was it difficult to raw dog it? What happened?
I did. So I went camping over the weekend at a festival.
Yes, I was going to say it's not Magic Round. Where were you?
No, I went to Confest. It's I suppose you might call it a hippie fest, an alternative lifestyle festival. And I've got news to say that of all the alternative lifestyles showcased at the festival, rugby league is not among them. Which is maybe concerning, but one of the key parts of Confest is their workshops, and so I was sort of keen to bring a little bit of that NRL Hellmouth gospel to the Confest massive. And I ran some workshops over the weekend, see if any of these would have taken your interest. Past life regression for Dragons supporters. Yes. I had positive manifestation for the Panthers not to win the comp again. I'm not going well with that one. Manly as shit now, but I still hate them. Am I a bad person?
Well, that would have been very popular.
Yeah.
Then we had breathwork for tranquility during Golden Point. Living the Gus Gould way, finding light in self-loathing. And looking for meaning in your erotic Peter Volandi's dreams. Would you believe that of all those ones that I put on, no one came? It was completely empty, one after another. The only one that did pull huge numbers was a genital reincarnation circle for people who, during the mid-2000s, named their genitals Big Willie Mason or Nigel Vagina. And a lot more people than you think.
Yeah, I bet.
So that was an exciting time. But yes, as you mentioned, raw dogging the weekend, managed, would you believe, to somehow miss spoilers while I was there. No one getting around in celebratory jerseys, that kind of thing. But I returned late on Monday night as if I were emerging from a bunker like a mole man. I was very excited to see the replay of the Storm take on the Panthers. And I think much like a mole man, there is the sort of ensuing loss of innocence, the sense of hopelessness, and, it was a dark place that I returned to.
Yes, you would have. I think we all maybe need to do an ayahuasca ceremony to get over that Panthers Storm game. It was quite something.
Yeah, well, we started the replay and Cooper Cronk assured me, he said it was going to probably go down to Golden Point. Then he said at halftime when we were what, 20 points behind. He said, if there's anyone that can pull it around, Bellamy will fix it. He'll write the course. And he was wrong again, significantly. But those Panthers are good.
Dan, question for you. Which cohort has the silliest haircuts, Confest attendees or NRL players?
Very good question. I would actually say these days the NRL players have overtaken Confest. Perhaps in the old days there would have been a little bit more outlandish hairdos at Confest.
I feel like some NRL players, though, you could probably just put them in, a bit of tie-dye or something and they'd fit right in with their haircuts. Like I think Lockie Galvin... in some sort of robes. He'd look just like a cult member, basically.
Yeah, I'd say go some robes and maybe just hand him a Yoho Diablo and he could just play that around, or sitting behind a ceremonial gong.
Yes.
Dan, next year you should take an envoy of 6 players from the team that's got the bye and you will sort of act as their go-between for Confest, and they'll all look the part. That's the easy thing, but you've got to get them basically never to speak, because I think that will be at the point where there's a disconnect between the visage and the meaning and the vibe of Confest. So if you don't have enough time to actually get them on board for how you interact at such a thing, you'll just have to be there. No. And they might get their dal or whatever, some vegan stuff, and they're like, "Oh, this is fucking shit." You're like, no. You got to eat it.
Perhaps encourage them to embrace the noble silence of the Buddhist tradition for the weekend.
It's oh yes! Xavier Savage! Christian Bale starts with an X, and this bloke has more X factor than anyone in the game. What a try! What a 4-pointer! What feet this kid has!
Now, the PNG Chiefs have signed Willie Peters as their inaugural coach, which I think most people are pretty excited about. Now, Willie Peters' manager is Fox Sports host and walking conflict of interest Braithen Anasta, who last week revealed the extremely weird way the deal was finalised. Very strange. Anasta had a meeting on Wednesday night with Chiefs general manager Michael Chammas, and according to Braith, they had to keep the meeting on the down low because Peter V'landys didn't want the news leaking beforehand. So incredibly, Anasta and Chammas decided to meet at 8:30 p.m. Wednesday night at the Oporto chain restaurant in Coogee.
Yeah. Good choice. Yep.
Incredibly, there are a few people at Oporto.
Oh.
Not a great place for a confidential meeting. So they instead go over the road to the Coogee Oval, where they sat in the dark on a park bench and went over the details and the numbers in order to get Willie over the line. Now, it's a fun little story, to be sure, but I have a few questions about this. Now, the NRL HQ in Moore Park is only 14 minutes drive from Coogee Oporto, according to Google Maps. If V'landys really wanted to keep this meeting confidential, surely he could let them use a meeting room there.
Yep.
Why wouldn't they just do that?
That's a pretty good question.
If that wasn't an option, have these guys never heard of Zoom or Microsoft Teams? You can meet online.
Yep. Another great option.
Third, if you want to avoid raising suspicion, maybe 2 guys sitting in the in the dark on a park bench late at night isn't the way to do it. I'm laughing because I just realised I'd love it if they were spotted in the dark on the park bench and the news leaked online, and then because V'landys wanted to keep the negotiations a secret, and Anasta and Chammas had to pretend they were actually there sucking each other off rather than nutting out a contract.
We're sitting in the dark. He gets his laptop out. I'll just read you some quotes, Dan.
Yeah,
We're
sure.
sitting in the dark. He gets his laptop out, and it was so weird.
Yeah.
We were doing all the numbers, and then we rang Willie and pretty much nutted it out that night. And then from Chammas, he said, I parked down near Coogee Oval. We sat on a park bench and did the deal in the comfort of the night.
That's what the kids are calling
and gave
it.
Willie
doing
a call
the deal.
after that. It was very strange
It's odd,
language.
isn't it?
It's beyond odd. Simon, you've put forward 3 very reasonable options, alternatives to this kind of dodgy rendezvous. To me, this is clearly 2 boys that want to I think they really want to play out their little undercover drug dealing fantasies.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if one of them just brought a paper bag with unmarked bills just to sort of go through this kind of, fun sort of pageantry. But yeah, completely unnecessary and, a little bit strange.
It's interesting that they don't have any quotes here about using Copilot to do the numbers or anything like that. An AI enhancement of the contract process would have been a useful inclusion within this. Otherwise, they do just sound like two guys that went and were cosplaying as exciting deal makers as opposed to just agreeing on terms for an employment contract.
They have a little giggle at the end. What are we going to tell the media about this?
Yeah.
Oh, it's dark, isn't it?
Funny if Brad said, hey, do you just want to come round to my place and we'll do it? And then Michael was like, no. There's no story in that.
Well, that's true. Braith did reveal this on his podcast, so perhaps that he's now just making his life decisions based on what'll make a great story for the podcast, as we all do.
Is the rugby league world around Coogee so league-centric that they would have seen Braith Anasta with, like, Michael Chammas is not that recognisable, I would have thought, and people would, like, surely this is like a little bit of an overkill of them thinking that it's so important, because they would have known the seriousness of what they were doing, but most people had been like, who's Anasta hanging out with on the bench? Oh, well, at least he likes his chicken.
Yeah, or even so, like, Chammas was in the media until very recently, just a couple of old media mates catching up, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and also, like, it's not like he's signed Jesus to play for, St. George next year. He's signed a coach who's living overseas for a team that will be starting in a couple of years.
No, you're right. No need for the Cold War espionage, Braith.
But still, I'm sure the trench coat looked really good.
Yeah, again, nothing sus about a couple of guys in trench coats on a bench late at night.
What absolute madness. Well, it might be madness, but I've enjoyed it, and I hope the viewer has as well.
That's because you're mad.
What?
You're mad.
That's a lovely way to go to a break.
Now, we've seen some fantastic on-field dackings already this season. Casey McLean scored a try the other night with his bum out. Always great to see. But look, one full moon that's been quite strangely lacking from the footage this year is James Tedesco. Of course, I think Tedesco famously a little bit loose with the knot around the drawstring of the shorts, and often his pants fall down in the course of a game.
Several moons a night.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but I have not spotted Teddy's arse all year. What do you think's going on?
Well, I know the easy answer is he's wearing bike shorts, unfortunately. I've analysed
so he is
really
getting dacked.
closely.
We're just not seeing the skin.
That's right. He's fortified himself with additional coverage.
You don't think it's a drawstring?
No,
question,
it
or?
is. It's like a chastity belt he's put on, which is very disappointing. Listeners might not know this, but when we were first planning this podcast last year, there was a whole section on James Tedesco's bum. We were building
the legal implications
multi-week segment around it, and for us, for it not to rise, has been a real blow to the growth of our show. And as we saw with Casey McLean on Friday night, they're still there if you need to. And I think a player got a full front deck at some point in the last few weeks, which was great. But without the folk hero of Tedesco, I should say, and the drama of it and the expectations of genre, which I think you two understand that it's part of the game, at least every second game you want to see it. It does create a reason not to tune in to watch the Roosters.
Yeah, that's very true.
Doesn't
it? He's been very sadly eclipsed, unfortunately. But I do think that I would really love if our podcast had that sort of reach. If we could hear from someone close to the Roosters dressing room. Hellmates at NRLhellmouth.com.
Oh, yeah.
Has there been any adjustment on the inside? Can we get word from Teddy as to whether there has been a wardrobe adjustment this season? If someone out there has any information as to what is happening in Teddy's pants, be sensible. Don't be juvenile. But get in touch with us. Hellmates at nrlhellmates.com.
I wonder if it actually might be a legal issue. I wonder if he's somehow been caught up in the new age verification laws for adult content that Australia brought in last month, and he's now classed the same as some of those video streaming sites. Maybe the Roosters could designate a couple of their games as adults only nights if they've perhaps got the 8 p.m. Friday time slot. Just say, no, we need to see ID. You got to be over 18 to see this, because Teddy's definitely getting jacked tonight.
But I understand we had some other wardrobe choices that raised our fascination over the weekend, or our disgust. James?
Well, certainly interesting. I was just watching the Knights play the Raiders, and I always get confused when they wear this jersey, but it's basically the New South Wales mining sponsored kit. And then they look like adorable miners, or
bit of
in
faux hi-vis.
Hi-vis. Yeah, and it is both confusing because you're thinking, who are these people? And then when you get your head around it, it sort of does make sense. But it only made me think, that's fine, mining, whatevs. It made me think that there could be other ways for a team to leverage their uniform for their benefit. Because I think the Raiders, if they were playing against literal knights, that is a psychological thing.
Oh, yes.
Whereas you're playing against miners, you would think, well, I guess they're healthy, fit people, but they're not professional rugby league players. They're just miners. And then you then go, oh, okay, well, I'm just playing against miners. I might not step up as much because I think it'll be easy because I'm just playing these dudes in high vis.
Yeah, that's right.
So imagine if you were playing, and then, the Knights obviously just took advantage of that. So imagine instead you were playing maybe people that look like nurses or surgeons.
Yeah.
Maybe not members of the armed forces because that's quite intimidating. But your weaker stuff. Maybe in a McDonald's uniform, KFC uniform, something like that.
This is great.
And then you would actually use that as a way to do a bit of reverse psychology. So the team, your opposition are like, I'm just up against these Macca's drive-through clowns. Yep. We're going to run through them.
Yeah.
But then no, they're actually professional rugby league players in those McDonald's uniforms.
I think that's an excellent idea, and I think that the Raiders really missed a trick with the game because they should have come dressed as federal public servants. You guys might not know this because you're outside the Canberra bubble, but there is a bit of a joke about the public service uniform in Canberra, which is the black Kathmandu puffer jacket. Which is a very popular choice during the winter months. So I think if the Raiders got their jersey with a print of like the Kathmandu puffer
and the quilting,
maybe with a bit of the inner green lining showing, because then that ties into the traditional colours. Open to reveal a sort of a smart casual shirt, no tie, and then a printed lanyard hanging down the front. I think that would really tie into the idea. And your Knights say, we're a bunch of miners. Of course we're going to, and then beat these soft bureaucrats.
And
little do
you
they
come
know.
You come out with keep cups and stuff.
Yeah, that's right. And a little coffee card with half the holes punched.
So you don't think it's going to work against the individual? People talk about, needing to dress with confidence and that kind of thing. You don't think that would sort of come at the expense of the confidence of the players?
I suppose for the Raiders, they'd have to spend a week getting into the mindset of an elite Canberra-based public servant.
Yeah.
Absolute best of the best, yeah.
A good question for the Knights is, did they spend any time underground in the week? And or did they, sort of book a feud style, have a sit-down prior to the game, and maybe a miner came in and talked about the hardship and talked about getting on the tools and working hard, just to sort of get them into the sense that even though they were being perceived as not as strong as, say, a Titan or a Raider or a Knight, however, they had the conviction of someone with nobility, and I think that would work for the public service as well, because they could definitely, have a nice little module there that they would do online in the lead up to the game, just to sort of make themselves understand the importance of the APS. But I mean, they looked ridiculous, and there was not sufficient PPE involved. In fact, I didn't see a steel-capped boot at all. But who cares, because the Knights had an impressive win.
Couple of weekends' time, I can't wait to analyse every single Anzac jersey, which is one of my favourite things to do, and will not get us in any trouble at all.
Now, you might have noticed we're in a bit of a fuel supply shock as a bunch of sociopathic fuckwits fight over the Strait of Hormuz. Now, breaking news, we are recording this at Wednesday lunchtime Rugby League Standard Time. That's calibrated to the Moore Park Meridian. But it looks like there might be a ceasefire in the works. Fingers crossed. But petrol prices are still going up. So on NRL Hellmouth, we're forming a bit of a think tank to propose ways that the NRL can do its bit to counter some of the impacts of the oil crisis. So I've asked you guys for some ideas. I'll start though. I thought a very simple solution would be to require that, obviously, teams going to away games, you have 27 rounds a year, 17 teams, awful lot of jet fuel being burned, awful lot of diesel getting burned in buses, long haul trips. So what I'd love to see was that the NRL mandate that all players must travel to away games on e-bikes. Obviously great for reducing the strain on Australia's oil supplies. I think it'd be great for the communities. You can imagine in all the suburbs or towns along the route, the residents just lining the streets to wave and cheer, maybe get their, their rally towels out if they're from one of those unfortunate teams that have them. I think it'd be great for the community, and I think it'd also add a bit of spice to the usual away game vibes post on social media, which I know we're aware of. You've probably seen a team will post them on the morning of an away game, and it's just the squad walking around in floppy sweatshirts with drinking coffee from takeaway cups. Occasionally a short clip of them passing around a stick and then laughing when someone drops it. To be clear, dropping the pill is never a laughing matter, even when you're off the clock, boys. But anyway, if these game day vibes with them rolling into town and racing each other on bikes, I'd probably be a lot quicker to hit the like button.
Oh, especially, imagine Joe Tarpanay and Josh Papali'i riding on a tandem bike with caption Green Machine.
Papa's hair blowing in the breeze.
Oh, I'd get behind that social. Like.
What do you think of an option, Simon, additional to that, if there was wind-powered sailing, particularly to get over to New Zealand? Obviously, they need to do it anyway.
Yes.
But
the
also,
golden age of sail, let's bring it back.
Going from Melbourne to Brisbane, quite the hike, even on an e-bike. But
yeah, that's true. It's a couple of days on a sailboat.
Off. Yeah, Wild Oats 11, some of those Sydney to Hobart yachts don't seem to do much every other part of the year, and just go up and back. Yeah. And the players will be able to learn a great new skill, that of ocean sailing.
But I was actually thinking something a little bit more game showy, I suppose you might say. I like the idea of getting along to a game. We could have the mascot of the team, let's say that beautiful little rabbit from the Rabbitohs.
Reggie the rabbit.
Can you imagine it? Reggie Rabbit getting out there with a fire hose of fuel. We've at the start of the day, we've given out little tubs to people, and they all have to just catch the fuel that he's shooting into the stands.
Collect whatever they can.
Reggie would, he'd be a rabbit for the people as he opens up that fire hose of E10.
Maybe E10's fine for the people behind the cheap seats behind the sticks, but you probably need, the premium unleaded for those on the halfway line.
Well, actually, he could nominate the fuel prior to the game.
It's diesel night at Allianz Stadium.
Hey, it'd be cool if Reggie then became a sort of a Morton Joe type character. From Mad Max Fury Road, that dude with the funny helmet on his. If you Google now Morton Joe, he does have a rabbit-like.
He does, yeah. There's a piece
on. So you can see the through line in the dystopia of Reggie the rabbit gleefully giving away petrol to rugby league fans, and then cut to 20 years later, he is a warlord controlling much of the nation with his army of nihilistic war boys.
I think you've just...
there's a thread there.
That's the next Mad Max prequel. Russell Crowe, get on to your mate George Miller. Let's make this happen. And I think, well, the immediate focus is obviously on the supply of fuel for transport industry. Of course, oil from the Middle East is also used to make plastics, including the players' synthetic jerseys.
And rally towels.
It's true.
Gosh.
So I propose maybe we swap all teams' jerseys over to 100% hemp, a renewable natural fibre. Dan, maybe you could work with one of your Confest connections on this, but I think it's also a great opportunity to embrace some earthier colour schemes and perhaps more flowing uniforms. I'd love to see some of the on-field uniforms being replaced by perhaps tie fishermen's pants instead of shorts, and maybe one of those kind of coarse woven button-up shirts with the little wooden toggle buttons.
And maybe if we could just get a little bit more give in the waistline.
Yeah,
you know what
right.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Just a little bit more relax in the old waistline. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And I think the obvious extension of that, though, is also to replace the synthetic steam with a hemp ball, almost like a giant hacky sack. I think that that would be great. And just a reminder that no action is too small in these times. And with that in mind, I think it's important to remember that barbers need oil too to lubricate the blades of their hair clippers. So I think to reduce demand of that precious resource, perhaps we should mandate that players are no longer allowed to shave the sides of their heads.
Finally, somebody talking sense.
Fade-free round.
That would be very good to have. It's like, we as a rugby league community have come around, gotten together in support of the global fuel crisis. Thank you. And for the next month, there will be no fades.
Oh, no, he pulled his hands away. No.
Possibility of a penalty try and professional foul as the foul happens in the field of play.
There we go. That's how stupid the rule is.
I understand, but that's the rule as it stands.
It's time to move on to a tight little segment. This one we debuted a few weeks back. It's called Did You Know? Did you know the Penrith Panthers are a really good rugby league team? They win a lot and even have a family link between their coach and halfback. Interesting. It might be the father and son. Did you know it is forbidden for a team to concede 50 points in a regular season game and go on to win the premiership? Did you know that?
I have not heard anybody say that, certainly not in the last week.
No, that's crazy. That's impossible. That's an arbitrary number. Anyway, go on.
Did you know the Braith Anasta, who features as a commentator and personality on Fox Sports, is the same Braith Anasta that manages several high-profile rugby league players and coaches? Did you know that?
What? Doesn't make sense. It's an egregious...
Seems like a perceived conflict of interest at best. Actual at worst.
And did you know Matt Geyer and Paul Gallen from 2GB's Continuous Call team believe the moon landing, but do wonder who filmed Neil Armstrong and how they got the buggy up there?
I do know that.
Valid question.
Yep.
And that's all for this week's Did You Know?
Wow.
That's a bloody good question about the buggy, and I can be a smartass as much as I want. I don't know off the top of my head how they got it up there. Maybe we need to find out and explain it.
I believe in it, but few questions.
Let's just check it because we can clip this and tell them. Mark Geyer, Paul Gallen. The moon buggy was folded and attached to the lunar module, at which point the module landed. The buggy was then unfolded from the side of the module and ready to go.
And the camera was mounted on the buggy, pointing back at the staircase. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, look.
And no Cooper Johns. It wasn't Vanessa Amorosi dancing out there in the crowd. We know, okay?
Is that a tiara?
That's not a hat, it's a tiara.
Look, thanks for clearing that up, but have you cleared it up? Still something to think about.
So Dan and Simon, I have decided to run this next segment very specifically because I want to create as much engagement as possible. So just bear with me now as I commence this.
Fantastic.
As I commence this. My two co-hosts have gone viral with their content, and I need to do the same or they'll kick me off the podcast. The Cyberpunk Bulldogs concept did insane numbers, and Spinefield was so hot, Mitch Kenny stopped watching birds and dropped us a comment. I'm under massive pressure to get this right, but I think I've cracked the code. Guys, I give you the spine of the St. George Illawarra Dragons as the cast of The Hunt for Red V in October. So I think I've set it up quite nicely.
Such a setup.
Yeah, The Hunt for... So I actually had a typo in my script, which is why I kept saying it wrong. Instead of stopped, I had spotted, which is a bird faux pas, I suppose, or a Freudian slip. So, okay, that's the setup. Cut,
Really nice.
put the sound on. Clint Gutherson is Captain Marco Ramius, an experienced and highly decorated leader. Marco Gutho has the respect of his crew and a plan to defect to the calmer waters of the top 8. But as the Red V continues to plunge into unprecedented depths, will they stay loyal or jump ship? So far, so good, right?
Yeah, really good.
That's really relatable stuff because everybody knows who Clint is and people know who Captain Marco Ramius is from our specific demographic. Yes. Kyle Flanagan is Jack Ryan, CIA analyst and reluctant action hero. Ryanigan is always in the mix and has to balance... Oh, shit, bit of a typo. He's always in the mix and has to balance his loyalties between the team and higher-ups in the government. So that relates to his dad,
really good. Dad,
Shane Flanagan.
Coach of the same team. Yeah.
Damien Cook is Vasily Borden, desperate to find a new life. Cookin is at the forefront of Gutho's plans and will duck and weave through enemy traffic to pilot the Red V to safety. Unfortunately, his untimely death dashes his dreams of marrying a round American woman and raising rabbits. The last bit you guys might think is too weird and we shouldn't do it, but it's actually a direct line from the original film. And Damien Cook used to play for the Rabbitohs. Daniel Axelson is Ivan Putin. And then it kind of falls down here because Gutho in the film kills him early, and I kind of ran out of time for the rest of it. But you get the thing. The Hunt for Red V in October. Do not miss this shocking fall and stunning rise of 17 men trapped in a water coffin where the only escape is death. What do you guys reckon? What a riff for this for about 5 to 10? Like 5 to 10 minutes of riffing on this is pretty cool, right? Pretty cool, right?
Yeah. Look, I'm not sure if I can keep this energy up. Great points, man.
Yeah,
Great points.
What do you guys think?
You know, that's a classic film, J-Rock.
Yeah. I was under so much pressure, but I just thought, yep, I've got it. Boom.
He's the fastest man on the planet. He's the fastest man on the planet. He'd have got there, Rabbits. He'd have got there.
Now we're going to dip into our listener mailbag now to see what members of the Hellhead community have to say. We've received an email from Westy, a North Queensland Cowboys supporter, although he's careful to say he's not a tragic. I think that's very healthy, Westy, especially with the Cowboys.
Healthy to have balance in life, Westy.
Absolutely, yes. Anyway, Westy writes, how good is the close-up of the kicker's face? The exhale. The turn of the head to focus on the black dot from 1 metre in, 21 metres out. And then they spray it wide. I can really relate to that disappointed feeling. Can't we all, Westy? Can't we all?
Yeah, I think I relate to it really recently.
Yeah, I can especially relate when I get up in the middle of the night for a wee. But I think Westy touches on something very important here. Rugby league is famously a extremely physical game, played at great speed. And really the pre-conversion close-up shot is really the only opportunity that we as fans have to linger on a player's face and to note that rawness and that vulnerability that you can sometimes see in a Nathan Cleary or a Nick Meaney during these moments, and I think it can be
very true.
Quite haunting and even beautiful.
I've been watching sort of like you say something like, I've been watching as if it's a choice to me, but as I scroll through crap, I've occasionally get something from Johnny Wilkinson, the rugby rugby union player.
Union.
And he actually did something very cool, which was that he had the ball set up very close to the sticks right in the middle. And he said, when you kick the ball from here, you're always going to get it, and you'll do it without stress because you know you'll get over it. And then he just kept bringing the ball back almost to halfway and getting it over. But he was saying if you kick the ball the same as you would kick it when you know you're going to get it over and it's easy, you follow that pattern, then you'll actually be able to kick the ball over as you go back and back and back.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the stress attached to it.
That is really nice.
Nothing really funny there, just an interesting insight from a rugby
and I
player.
think
potentially the first time somebody in rugby said anything interesting.
He's got it again.
Oh, you're not a fan of Peter Fitzsimon's column, James? Disappointed. I think you're right, and you can see it because the good players will do exactly the same ritual, whether it's, directly in front from 20 metres out or right on the sideline. So I assume that's just part of treating every kick the same. But anyway, I thought this weekend I might pop down to the National Portrait Gallery and see how they'd feel about commissioning a exhibition of goal kickers' faces in that revealing pre-conversion state. I'm sure some of Australia's fine portrait artists would leap at the chance to use their oil paints to give us all a window into the kicker's soul. Speaking of suggesting they call it Beyond the Black Dot, what do you think?
God, that's amazing.
Simon, really, really nice.
Who's the guy that looked like he was doing a poo? I love that guy. Well, maybe that was Johnny Wilkinson. He had his hands up and he would crouch down.
There are some really...
Yeah, I love those
historically
ones.
Some great techniques, some little bobs, and then some people do the waving hand.
Yeah.
Pappenhausen, he always whispers a few words to himself. I think he was asked what they were, and I think he said that he doesn't say anything. He just sort of like is mouthing something. Yeah.
That seems like he's covering up for something. I reckon he's saying something really embarrassing.
Yeah, right. But there'd be people at home that are lip readers, and they would, they'd be like, this guy's a sicko.
Yeah.
Or they'd think he's a complete fool if he's just saying eggs, tomatoes, keep it sunny side up, and then he goes for his kick. Or it's in the dark moments, I am constantly meditating my own death.
Be terrible if someone decoded it and then they sent it to Pappenhausen and said, you leave the Melbourne Storm or we will reveal whatever you're saying.
Yes. Did your dog arc up because you took an aggressive tone there,
The dog, if I talk about Pappenhausen quitting the Storm, he gets very angry. Mainly because he thought that he'd had much more to give in his career. Could have just taken 6 months off and come back, and gosh, the Storm are missing him. I mean, Sua's a fantastic attacking player, but there's more to being a fullback than that, and that's what we've learnt this season.
I couldn't agree more. A lot of growing up to do in some of these young boys.
Anyway, thank you for the email, Westy. If anyone else would like to send us a discussion topic or a question, or you're a lip reader who can tell us what Pappenhausen was saying that he had to give up his career over, please do so via hellmates@nrlhellmouth.com. That's hellmates, all one word, at nrlhellmouth.com.
We love the brilliant Ryan Pappenhausen, but Storm fans might be asking the brilliant Ryan Pappenhausen.
Hey, are you Shane Flanagan?
Yes, I am, but I don't have time to talk. I'm a premiership-winning coach. I'm under slight pressure to maintain employment, and I've been working on a unique unisex fragrance that is sure to be a hit with all of the fragrance moggers chomping up my mentions.
Wow!
Hey, I'm a fragrance mogger.
Then I need to tell you about Smells Like Team Spirit, the only fragrance made exclusively from the spirit of the St George Illawarra Dragons. Made from the very excretions of 17 men that your team will likely defeat in 2026. Team Spirit features
lint,
fingernails,
toenails,
very specific hairs that we can't say,
sweat from towels,
sweat that just drips off that we collect in little jars,
the gross stuff between your toes.
I don't know, but he makes me put my fingers up their nose and stuff.
And more. From there, my proprietary distilling techniques reduce said secretions and human detritus into a funky mix. Oh yeah, you know it. What's that smell?
It's
Team Spirit.
I fucking can't hear ya.
It's Team Spirit.
And then it trails off after that with how to order it and whatnot. So
not many details there.
Finally,
that does
a
well.
high-end product to promote on this show.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is like a
Thanks,
genuine
Simon.
luxury brand, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
And so hopefully it brings in a high class of listener.
Something in my head is prompting me to ask, have you made any arrangements with Shane?
Oh, absolutely.
I found him a difficult man, perhaps even prickly in my limited email correspondence.
He's very stressed, as you can tell and as you've seen. However, very reasonable. You've done deals previously where I think we've got a cut of the actual product, and I wasn't interested in that. So what we've got is a percentage of post-sales profit per vial produced.
Oh,
which is amazing. Yeah.
Oh, that's tasty. So maybe, I don't know, 50% are we talking here?
Not quite that high. And the other thing that I need to make you aware of is that the vials of fragrance sell for $88.90, and the cost of production currently is close to that mark. In fact, it's $91. But Shane assures me that as more sales come in, cost of production goes down. It's like Uber and Amazon used to lose heaps of money in the early days. So while we will, in fact, carry a liability going forward, as things turn around, it will even out. But we just have to stay the course, Dan. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's bloody hard, though, isn't it, Dan? I've given you a hard time for the last month. It's not as easy as you think.
I've got to say I'm very glad to hear that, you've got some learnings to come out of this, even if they are going to cost us perhaps even quite a lot of money. But let's keep that one going. But please get on boards if you want to help out the podcast, help out Shane, help out the Dragons. Smells like Teen Spirit is the way
Team
to go.
Spirit. Team Spirit. It's a play on Teen Spirit, which is, of course, the Nirvana song from Nevermind, and that in and of itself was a play on the Teen Spirit fragrance. But this is a play on the play on that.
Full circle.
That's right. It's come full circle.
When you spell it out like that, it's an exciting proposition.
Well, that's better than Flano's funk, but I talked him out of that because I thought there's less of a story behind it.
The foul play far outweighs the dickhead.
It's time for your favourite segment of the week, This Week in Hell. It's called This Week in Hell. It's called This Week in Hell. It's called This Week in Hell. Right, pretty quickly, the narrative of the season has been set. Who can possibly defeat the Panthers? Every week, apart from the bye week, somebody will try. Will they even get close to a team that does seem a cut above? Certainly, last year's Bulldogs versus last year's Panthers would have been very close. You wouldn't know who's going to win. This year's Bulldogs versus this year's Panthers, it'll be tough work.
And the fact that it's a Bulldogs home game and they will have rally towels almost.
They'll have rally towels.
Certain loss. Yes. You can pop that in the loss column.
Yeah. So
before we even get started.
Don't even bother. Just put your money on that one. Put your money on a Panthers win.
And remember, Bulldogs fans, give up at 20.
Oh, thank you, Simon. Walk out. And turn off, walk out, get out of there, leave the rally towels behind.
Oh.
Done. Enjoy your Thursday night. Get home early. Spend time with your family. Friday night, two big ones, Dragons, Seagulls, Kieran Foran, of course. There's so much to talk about. We didn't even talk about his first victory last week. He'll be in the difficult second game against a desperate Dragons down in Wollongong.
Two very different approaches from those teams. The Dragons seem to be allowing the Flanagans to, take the patient approach, whereas the Seagulls, they're moving on. And whether it's Foran that will be at the helm for much longer or not, it's at least it will be a little bit of a comparison of this is how we do it over our side of the fence. But a lot of hope in a game like that, I think, and a lot of desperation.
Definitely. If we work really hard in the next 24 hours to get out that social post of the hunt for Red V in October, it could be that the Dragons actually play it as part of their pre-game. Also on Friday night, we've got Broncos versus Cowboys, always a huge match.
Oh, that'd be great.
The two original Queensland teams, so that's going to be great there.
Shoes coming out for that one too, by the way.
Oh,
strike it loud,
yeah,
strike it proud.
Let's see if it's going to make a difference.
Strike the shoe.
Very good. So that's actually a really great start to the round.
Absolutely.
Then Saturday night, Storm versus Warriors, always good. Always good. The Storm could have been in a great thing, alternating Anzac Day games with the Warriors. One game in Auckland, one game in Melbourne. They opted not to do that, and eventually the Warriors just got jack of it and refused to come over and play for the Storm's biggest game of the year, which I think is a good peek into the wider enshittification of rugby league that we often comment on here.
Fair point.
But it's always a big game for those two teams, particularly with a lot of New Zealanders, Kiwis over in Melbourne.
The Warriors, they get very close. There was a famous come-from-behind victory last year or the year before, I think, that finished with that iconic Xavier Coates try in the corner to snatch victory from the Warriors, and they have not tasted defeat down at Amy Park for a very long time, and it would be, I think there's a bit of blood in the water, so that will be a very exciting game.
Then the match of the round, and who would have guessed it? Certainly not these rugby league analysts 4 weeks ago. We've got a tantalising match between the second place team and the third place team.
Who are they? Storm and
West Tigers and the Knights.
Yes,
incredible.
And if that game is with both teams scoring under 20 points, i.e. a good game of rugby league, then it will be perfection.
Out at Campbelltown on a Sunday afternoon.
Campbelltown.
Let's hope the weather is shining. That is going to be great. Oh, look, there's good fixtures all across the schedule this week. Let us hope that the great game runs its natural course and we don't find too many results that are decided by officiating.
And let's hope that the Dragons win, because it's always good for everybody to at least get 1 or 2 wins at the beginning of the season.
Well, the Dragons are the only thing keeping my team off the bottom of the ladder.
Oh, yeah, I just saw that. So,
I'm hoping that, they keep sucking in.
Yeah.
At least till we get a win. At least till we get a win or two under the belt.
The Rabbitohs haven't cemented their form yet, and you're due, but haven't you been due for the last few weeks?
Well, we'll see.
We will see.
It's pretty simple. Stop dropping the ball, you bloody bozos.
So one of our the champion of Australia, the champion of Australia, Peter V'landys, he's like President Trump.
Thank you both. That's it. Time to close up the Hellmouth for another week. Thank you very much to everyone for listening. We love you all. We really appreciate you supporting this strange little podcast. Now it's over to you, James, for your final thought.
We all have agency and power in this world. And that includes how tight or loose we tie a drawstring in the pants we're wearing, and indeed the undergarment that we wear underneath that pant or short. This week, do what is best for yourself and what is best for rugby league. And rip that drawstring out. You don't need it. No one needs it. Stay loose, my friends, and enjoy the week ahead. Ave Tedesco! Ave Captain Marco Ramius.
Did you know the Penrith Panthers are a really good rugby team? Sorry, I got the most important word.
Oh, boy. Embarrassing blooper for the reel.
That's a shocker.